Risk aversion is about survival. It's about during the evolution, we have been developed to take less risks. Hello, welcome to this place and this new day in the history of life. And we are in the middle of a pandemic, and but the vaccines are starting to be distributed, as you know. But there seems to be a controversy about whether you should take the vaccine or not. And I made some research, and I found three major reasons why why people choose not to take the vaccine. And there seems to be a movement going on for not taking the vaccine. The first reason is that you simply do not care about taking it. You are not interested for some reason. You don't want to take it. You don't care. So that's the first reason. The second reason seemed to be a mistrust against the government and a mistrust against global organizations, but primarily a mistrust against governments and elites, the elite, so to speak. The third reason is a risk or a fear of side effects. And I also understand that one. So that's the three reasons. Maybe you have other reasons. Please tell me if you have more reasons for it. But let's have a look at these three. The first reason, you do not care. That can be that is the one that's maybe it's a bit hard to understand, that you don't care at all. But I guess that's, well, you simply do not care. I think maybe you don't have to dig deeper into that one. So, some coffee. Yes. So the second reason, mistrust against the government. I can also understand that one. When decisions are made for you, you cannot affect the situation at all. That builds mistrust. You know, that's main ingredients for mistrust in any team, organization. You know, when at your work, for example, you know the feeling when someone is deciding for you what to do, what project you should do. How you should do things, you know, you want to decide on your own. And here comes a plane. I guess that's a good sign. People are starting to travel again. But you know, when in all organizations, when decisions are made for you, you get very reluctant when you cannot be part of the decision process. And that's exactly what happens when the government tells you that you cannot go out, like in France, you know, you're not allowed to go outdoors from 8 p.m. in the evening. So that's you're basically in a house arrest from 8 p.m. You know, if you take it more. That's what I read when I read through the comments that have this argument, from people that have this argument for not, they're very angry at, it's a mistrust against the government, you know. And I can fully understand that. I think this pandemic, it's a severe pandemic, and we are trying to find ways of solving it. And lockdown is one way. It's a pretty effective way because people cannot meet and the virus cannot spread. But it's also, how should I put this? It's a bit, you know, it's not a very, it could be much worse. The pandemic could be much, much worse. We've had pandemics in the past which has been, the fatality rate has been extremely much higher. So for this pandemic, I don't know if I think that a lockdown like that is the way to go. I think there are measures, smaller measures that don't affect people's lives in such a way that could be better in this case. As I said, when a time of year when people are used to meet, and I can also feel that, you know, you want to go home, you want to meet your relatives, and it's not possible. So that's one reason that people say, I won't take this vaccine. I won't follow the rules. Because decisions has been made for me. I'm self-sufficient. I'm not following the rules. It's something that is fueled by these decisions, by the governments. It's the side effect, so to speak, of that decision to make such very intrusive measures. Maybe it's necessary, but it's, you know, it's a lack of communication with people. And what can you do about that? I guess that other measures should be taken in this case. Not so severe measures. There are other ways to do this, I think. So, chanterelle soup. That's the soup of the day. So when we talk about the mistrust against the government, hold on a minute. When we talk about the so where did I put the spoon? Where did I put the spoon? So when we talk about the mistrust in the government, there are many kinds of ideas out there. The most extreme ones is about a new world order, that the governments, the states, are part of some kind of great scheme to restart the world, make a new world order. You've maybe heard about the great reset. You know, is this part of some kind of new scheme to make us all slaves? You know, that the governments think that let's take this opportunity to control people. So maybe, well, I don't think that's very trustworthy, that idea. But it's, you know, people are afraid. People are afraid. That's also a big reason. It's part of this mistrust. And the most extreme examples, they argue that, well, this vaccine dose it will, it will inject some kind of agent into you so that the state can control you. But that's very extreme. That's very extreme. But it's part of the fear and mistrust against the government. Risk aversion is something that is very deeply associated with humans and all organisms, I would say, on this planet. Risk aversion and loss aversion. But let's talk about risk aversion. It's something you encounter every day. You do this every single day of your life. I can give you an example from myself. I never been very active on social media. Really not active on Facebook. Really, I haven't been active at all. But I've been looking a lot. I've been watching YouTube. I've been active on YouTube, so to speak. But I've been thinking a long time that maybe I should do something there. Maybe I should, put out some videos on YouTube. But now comes the risk aversion component, and that is, what if I put out videos and people starting to say things, why are you doing this? What's the point with this? But as soon, and that step, putting out the first video, it was a very big step. It took like 1 or 2 years for me to overcome that little step. Just press that button and put out the video. So that's a clear example of risk aversion from myself. That prevents you from doing so much in life. Now we are still talking about the vaccine, but that's, the small obstacles that becomes, mountains. This risk aversion is very profound. It's very profound effects on our lives. It's deeply within us, and it's been a part of our evolution. So the fear of the side effect of the vaccine, it's a part of that. Risk aversion is about survival. It's about, during the evolution, we have been developed to take less risks. That's why we are so focused on negative news, why we like news, why we trust in, we want to see and understand the risks. You fear more to lose something than you are willing to take the risk to gain something. You want to at all costs avoid the risks. That's the human nature. There's a major part of this, and it's completely understandable. In every project that humans pursue, we are much more focused on the risks with this project than with the gains of the projects. That's just human nature. Fear of side effects are a major part of not taking the vaccine. But if you look objectively on this, the risk of getting any kind of side effect is probably extremely smaller, much smaller than getting severe effects if you get COVID-19. But of course, it's a vaccine that has been produced and tested very quickly. It's been developed in record time, and the long-term effects of this for several years, it's simply it isn't there. We haven't got the time for that. the common good of taking the vaccine towards the risk for you getting a side effect of it. It's the risk of side effects are so much. The risk is so much smaller. When we talked about three reasons for not taking the vaccine, the major one I would say is the mistrust against the government, and that's partly because who should you blame? Who should you blame? I think the measure could have been different and not so extremely severe or affect people in such an extent. It would be much less reluctancy when it comes to a trust in government. And yes, I will definitely take it. And I encourage all others to take it. But one thing which is very important, and that is it should not be mandatory to take it. You have to decide for yourself. Some of the measures we've seen, next time they will be imposed much more easy, and some of them might not go away when the pandemic ends. And let's hope now for next spring and next summer that we will get rid of this. I really hope. I think so, if enough people take this vaccine. Yes. Okay. I think that's it. And yes, I would encourage if this is helpful in any way, if you would like to subscribe to this channel, it will be very helpful. So yes, and I wish you a good day, all the best till next time, and take care. Yes, see you. Bye.